As in, and unfortunately, no improvements. We've just fallen deeper into drought. This is last week's. Now let's fast forward to this week's, and you see how the drought has expanded eastward, especially along I-10, the extreme category. Unfortunately, no good sign of rain, maybe a 10% chance here and there. That's it, especially coastal plain. And cooler air will have some weak cool fronts. They're just going to keep the core of the cooler air too far to the north of us to really make a difference. So actually record challenging warmth this weekend. 66 in the morning, 90 in the afternoon. This weekend, low 90s, actually record challenging. The record high Saturday, Sunday is 93. We'll be right there.
Students at New Braunfels ISD don't have access to check out books from their libraries right now. That's because the district is reviewing all of its library materials to make sure that they line up with the standards of a new Texas law. It's Senate Bill 13. The district says the law requires school library materials to be free of anything that is considered harmful, indecent, or profane content. Those exact definitions are explained in the law, and KSAT's Madeline Lambert is breaking that down for us here tonight. She also sat down with a parent who says that she is frustrated with the decision from the district.
How can you shut down a library in a middle school during the school year?
That's what students at New Braunfels ISD are
Tonight, ripple effects from the government shutdown. You know, this isn't just politics, how it's also affecting military families who have children with autism. Plus, neighbors of the man arrested in connection to Stacey Dramiga's murder react to his arrest tonight on the Nightbeat.
Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
16 days and counting since the federal government shut down, and tonight we're completely removing politics from this conversation to show you how this shutdown is affecting regular people, like military families, for example. Some of the ones who have children with autism rely on something called applied behavior analysis, or ABA therapy. We'll get to that in a moment, but basically it's something that helps kids with autism learn critical functional skills, how to communicate, solve problems, and be independent. It's also very expensive. Military families get ABA therapy through their health insurance, but since the shutdown, their insurance just hasn't paid ABA practitioners, so those practitioners can't treat kids. I spoke with a mother who is eager for the shutdown to end so that her daughter gets the care that she so desperately needs. Meet Summer Brown.
Hi, Dad. You want to play games?
Sure.
She's a sweet 6-year-old who loves Bluey, playing with her sister Scarlett, and singing. As I realized quickly, she's also easy to love.
Oh, let go.
But Summer has been struggling.
Her PT reported that she was a little bit off. Things were different. Normally, she's very consistent and steady in being able to follow directions.
That's Summer's mom, Rebecca Brown. She says Summer's changed since she lost access to applied behavior analysis therapy, something she did for 30 hours every week before the shutdown.
For someone with autism like Summer, consistency and routine are so important to being able to function.
We're inside one of the rooms at Integrated Behavior Solutions. This is where Summer has received service of applied behavior analysis for the last 2.5 years. But since the shutdown, she and 25 other children from military families have not been able to access the service here. Britt Sims is a board-certified behavior analyst and owns Integrated Behavior Solutions.
We are working on the kind of behaviors that promote independence for these kids. So from communication, behavior, social skills, play skills, to be able to take them from where they are and to build in the skills that necessary so they can live the most independent life they can live.
Those skills, Rebecca says, are what helps Summer flourish. She's better coordinated, can communicate what she wants, and takes an interest in things.
Going to the zoo, Summer didn't even look at the animals previously, and now, you know, she knows all the animals' names, she knows the sounds they make.
But Rebecca's anxious all those gains will be lost if the shutdown keeps Summer from receiving ABA therapy. And she's hoping Congress comes back to the table so that kids like Summer get the services they need to function.
Hoping that somebody will hear my story and take an interest and be willing to stand up for military families like mine and get us back to those services that we need.
So time is of the essence for this family. By the way, Integrated Behavior Solutions, where Summer gets her ABA therapy, furloughed most of its practitioners because of the lack of funding. And Britt, who you heard from in this piece, told me that he is worried about all of those kids. He gave us a tour of the facility and also explained ABA therapy and more about how it works. We have that video for you right now on our website, KSAT.com. Switching gears right now, 2 high-level Army commands based at Fort Sam Houston are moving to Fort Bragg in North Carolina. Army North and Army South are going to merge with Force Command to form a new Western Hemisphere Command. Army Chief of Staff General Randy A. George making that announcement today. And we asked San Antonio Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones how this could impact Military City USA. And she sent us a statement that reads in part, quote, "While I'm disappointed to hear the consolidated headquarters will relocate to North Carolina, Army leaders this summer indicated even this outcome could yield a minimal impact to the overall Army footprint at JBSA," end quote. Right now, it's unclear how many people are going to relocate. We reached out to Fort Sam Houston and Army Public Affairs for a comment, but they were unable to talk to us because of the government shutdown. Now tonight, we're learning more about the man who was shot and killed yesterday after San Antonio police say that he shot at officers and wounded 2 of them. Just weeks ago, cameras were rolling. They caught Odon Bustos at a Southside store flashing a gun and taking $300 and other items. A warrant for aggravated robbery was issued, and at the time of his death, Bustos was also wanted for violating parole and a court order outside of San Antonio. Court records show that Bustos had prior felony convictions for drugs, firearms, and family assault. Last year, a judge sentenced him to 2 years in prison, but then credited him for time served, so he was released less than 3 months later. According to the Bexar County District Attorney, a 2024 weapons charge against him was dropped because the arresting agency didn't provide enough evidence. So tonight we have new information about what happened. You see, initially, San Antonio Police Chief William McManus said that 3 officers had shot at Bustos, but now the department says that only 2 officers fired their weapons. The night team's Zaria Oates spoke with the suspect's family, who are asking questions about how this incident unfolded.
San Antonio police responded to a call for help at this motel on the far west side around 8 a.m. Wednesday morning.
He started running, and as he was running, he started pulling at his waistband, pulled out a pistol, and the officers and the suspect exchanged gunfire.
According to police, Bustos shot at officers and then was shot and killed by the responding officers. We spoke with Bustos' family Thursday, and his brother, Robert Peligos, acknowledges Bustos wasn't a perfect citizen, but said he and his family just want clarity on exactly what happened.
The only thing that's going to prove anything is the body cam footage.
One of the officers, Luis Cordova, who was shot at Bustos, has been on the force for 8 years. He's now recovering from a gunshot wound. The other officer, Antonio Santiago, who shot at Bustos, has been with the department for less than 1 year. In an update from SAPD, the department said a third officer, Ethaniel Valdez, did not shoot at Bustos, but was shot at and is expected to be okay. One thing we have not gotten clarity on is when the suspect was tackled by officers, according to Chief McManus's initial statement at the scene.
As this officer was, as the suspect was pulling out that gun shooting, and one of the officers jumped on him.
We emailed SAPD more than once for clarity on this. The department told us that they could not provide additional information because the investigation is ongoing. We do, however, know that San Antonio Police Department has a policy to release critical incident video within 30 days after that incident took place. If they don't release the video in that time frame, they will provide an explanation as to why they're not releasing that video. Once we have more information on the video, we'll update you on air and online. Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
And tonight, people are asking a very simple question. Why? Why was Stacy Dramiga, a beloved healthcare worker in our community, killed? Just recently, Bexar County Sheriff's investigators linked 23-year-old Samuel Charron to the murder through DNA. He's accused of sexually assaulting and killing the 63-year-old in September of last year. Her body was found near a walking trail near DeFoss Park, and that site is just steps away from Charron's home on Como Street, where neighbors say that he seemed to be carrying on with his life as usual.
Knowing that what you did a year ago to that young lady, and how can you live in your conscience? I don't know. Arguing with himself. Really? Nobody, just, he goes to the backyard. Ah!
Charron was arrested yesterday on a charge of capital murder. Hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of meth laced with fentanyl now off the streets. Bexar County Sheriff's deputies say that it's why they arrested these people behind me, Yolanda Ramos Ponce and Tomas Hernandez. Today, Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar said that deputies found those drugs at the True by Hilton Hotel over on East Houston Street, which is in the downtown area. Deputies executed a search warrant after getting a tip. So now Ramos Ponce and Hernandez are facing drug possession charges. Day 5 in the trial of 3 now former San Antonio police officers accused in the killing of Melissa Perez. Today, another officer who was at the apartment the night that those officers shot and killed Perez took the stand. Officer Jonathan Salinas was the 3rd police officer to arrive the night of the incident in June of 2023. And he was seen on body camera footage climbing into Perez's apartment before she swung a hammer at him. When the prosecution asked why he did that, Salinas testified that Alfred Flores, who's one of the officers on trial, gave him the approval to do so.
And what did you discuss with with Defendant Flores?
It was a short conversation. I advised him, hey, my misdemeanor charge for criminal mischief was now upgraded for felony amount. Spoke with Detective Thornton, Knight's ID, and advised him that I would like to try to apprehend her to the open window, which Flores responded, okay, keep me posted.
Alfred Flores, Eliezer Alejandro, and Nathaniel Villalobos are all on trial and were all fired from SAPD after shooting Perez in her apartment. That night, the police chief had said that Perez had been having a mental health crisis. Testimony in this case continues tomorrow, and we invite you to watch it live because we're streaming it on all of our platforms. Still ahead, we want to get you ready for this election. KSAT, your one-stop shop for everything that you need to know about this election, from checking your voter registration to voting locations and times, and we're going to walk you through how to do all of that coming up.
A weak cool front pays us a visit this weekend. One noticeable change with that. Plus, we have record challenging heat to talk about and the new drought monitor comparison in just a bit.
"19 days left until Election Day. Early voting starts in just a few days. And this election, it's different for San Antonio because this has the potential to reshape the downtown area. But let's say you live outside of Bexar County. 17 constitutional amendments are also on the ballot. KSAT digital reporter Christian Riley gets you ready to cast your ballot.
This will be my first election as a San Antonio voter, so I'm bringing you along my own journey to make sure I'm registered to vote this November.
By the way, all these resources are available at ksat.com/vote.
First, I'm going to votetexas.gov to make sure I'm registered to vote.
I'm entering my name, date of birth, and zip code, and it shows the word active right here, so that means I'm good to vote.
Now let's talk about what to bring. Everyone needs an ID to vote in Texas, and this can include a driver's license, a voter registration card, a DPS-issued public safety card, a U.S. military ID, a citizenship certificate, or a passport. You can also bring notes about the candidates to reference as you vote, as long as it's not visible to others. But you'll want to leave the Spurs jersey at home. No clothing or signs supporting a political candidate, party, or ballot measure are allowed in the polling place. And this year, that includes Spurs and rodeo gear. Now all that's left to do is figure out where to vote. Bexar County voters can vote at any polling place, even on Election Day. The list of polling places and their hours can be found on the Bexar County Election Department's website. Christian Riley, KSAT 12 News.
So now let's get you ready for early voting in Bexar County. Next week, you can do that weekdays from 8 to 6. On Saturday, October 25th, polls are open from 7 to 7. You can also vote on Sunday, October 26th from noon to 6. And polls will be open from 7 to 7 on October 27th through October 31st. And then again on Election Day, which is Tuesday, November 4th. A lot of numbers. Yes, a big schedule being thrown at you, but you can go to ksat.com/vote for for more information on this. Now, here's an alert. We want to let you know about this because it's going to affect you this weekend. A major traffic alert for drivers. This is starting tomorrow. Part of southbound I-35 is shutting down. All of the main lanes at Loop 1604 are going to be closed over the weekend. This is part of the I-35 Northeast expansion program. Look, already Adam is making noises. Yeah, it closes tomorrow night at 8 and then reopens Monday morning at 6. To see a list of the detours that you can take during that closure, look for this story on our website. And, you know, it's important to point that out. You got a lot of stuff going on this weekend.
I was going to say, you have Formula One up at Circuit of the Americas right outside of Austin, and a lot of folks go up there for that. So when you're coming back to town, that's going to be problematic. Whether you go Friday, Saturday, well, Saturday or Sunday, really.
And that's aside from all the weather. And we also want you to be prepared for that this weekend.
Aside from normal traffic, right? Yeah. So something to consider. Okay, let's talk about the one change we'll notice from that weak cool front this weekend. I know. Hey, it's something, right?
Quiero más. I want more.
Humidity, it's going to plummet on Sunday. Okay, so there's that. It's going to feel a little better outside. Actually, Saturday is going to feel a bit muggy, but then by Sunday is the payoff. Just Sunday only. Regardless, we're going to have record challenging heat this weekend with highs in the low, almost mid-90s. And of course, we're just keeping that fall fail there at the bottom. No cold or cooler air really anytime soon. The new drought monitor is in. Now, this is the previous drought monitor. Of course, it's updated every Thursday. So this is the previous drought monitor from last week. Now, look at your screen, especially between San Antonio and Hallettsville. 3, 2, 1. And you see how this red extreme drought area spreads eastward along I-10 through Seguin, Gonzales, Sutherland Springs as well, Stockdale area. We're only getting drier is the bottom line, not just here, but all across the state. Over a quarter of Texas is in drought. And now you see a lot of this yellow, that bright yellow, not a drought category, but the step before a drought category, considered abnormally dry. Sadly, our rain chances, very, very slim. There could be a few coastal showers tomorrow. That would be about it. And then a 10% chance here and there, and maybe by next Thursday, about a 10% chance. So not much hope for rain. There's a system out there. It's off to our north. You see the shower activity in the northern tier of the country. Upper level highs actually breaking down a little bit. It will be replaced by another one, but it doesn't matter. Despite it breaking down, we don't have any disturbances coming in that'll make any difference for us. They all pass to the north. You see those troughs, those dips in the upper level flow all across the northern tier of the country. That's the main parade of disturbances, the main parade route for them is across the northern third of the U.S. here. So around here, not just here in south central Texas, but pretty much everywhere across the state, we are looking pretty dry in the days ahead. Let's talk temperatures. Okay, 87 today, but 90 tomorrow. Low 90s Saturday, Sunday. Thinking 92 Saturday, then 93 on Sunday. The record high, both Saturday and Sunday, is 93 degrees. So record challenging heat this upcoming weekend. And as of now, we are predicting to at least tie the record high on Sunday. With that much drier air, it heats up more efficiently. Wouldn't surprise me if we exceed that record. Now today, we're above average, along with everybody from here all the way up into Canada, Winnipeg and beyond. But look at the below average temperatures in the western third of the country. That's a direct result of that trough, that dip in the upper level flow, pulling that cooler air southward. Phoenix right now, 72, we're 79. Vegas is 68 degrees. Omaha, Nebraska is warmer than Vegas at the hour and has been all day today because we have the ridge of high pressure in the central part of the country and over our heads. Now, some cooler air is going to drop southward in the days ahead, just not far enough south to make it here and have a real impact on how it feels outside. So the fall fail above average through the next 14 days is the prediction. And dew points, they drop quite a bit on Sunday, and that's going to be the main thing this weekend. 87 are high today. The average is down to 82. We start the day tomorrow at 66, bit cooler in outlying areas. Back up near 90 for the high temperature. We've had 13 90-degree days. 19 is the record for October, and we could do it, Steph.
I was just hoping that by this time, this is week 8 of big game coverage, high school football, that the kids who are on those fields would just have better, cooler temperatures, but not so.
I'm sure that was the hope, and it's not easy being out there playing in the warmth and the heat. But you know what? Week 8, teams are chasing playoffs. They're trying to do everything they can to have success, so I'm sure they're not worrying too much about it. We have highlights around Week 8 VGC coming up, and the Spurs. Well, they announced today unfortunate injury news regarding their fourth-year power forward Jeremy Sohan after the break.
Thoroughly impressed with Michael. He is an unbelievable athlete, very smart, and I think he's a guy that's going to help us as we continue to grow his role in the program.
Former Alamo Heights athlete Michael Terry III seeing his versatility on the football field pay off with Sark's latest update in Big Board Sports. Week 8 of the high school football season is off and running. Tonight, we are bringing you to 4 games around the area, starting at Gustafson Stadium, where 5-1 Jay and 5-2 Laredo Nixon are vying for positioning in District 14 5A D1. First quarter, the oh-so-dynamic Tajari Willington for the Mustangs sees the opening, and the QB carries the rock for key chunky yardage, and he does get right back up after that hit. Later on the drive, Wellington fakes the handoff, then goes right up the gut for 6. Defenses have their hands full when they face Wellington and the Mustangs. Jay rolls to a 38-7 win. Now, this has been the team to watch this season. The 6-0 Harlan Hawks at Stevens tonight. The Hawks are ranked number 2 this week in 12's top 12, and Harlan already up big by the time we got there. Eldrick Trotter, quick release to King Tripp. He hoists himself up for the catch, and Harlan also capitalizing on the Falcons' mistakes in this game. The botched snap, and the Hawks make them pay. Make it 7-0 on the season for Harlan as they put up 57 points in the victory. Now venturing over to Hero Stadium, the MacArthur Brahmas hoping tonight is the night they break into the win column against 3-3 Bernie champion. But the Chargers, well, they get into the end zone right away. Caleb Farias stays on his feet, not taking no for an answer, and walks it in for 6. A lot more of that in this game, as it was all champion 35-6. Now the Canes of Sam Houston looking to stay undefeated in district against Burbank. Sophomore Xavier Youngblood on the QB keeper right up the middle and into pay dirt. The Hurricanes up 14-0. Later Youngblood on the scramble. Now he's directing traffic and targets LeBron Delane. Delane makes the diving catch, and Sam Houston punches it in soon after. The Hurricanes won 40-14. Well, the Spurs are locked in with their 2025-26 regular season opener going down next week. So much so that fourth-year power forward Jeremy Sohan, during an intense 5-on-5 scrimmage yesterday, suffered a left wrist sprain that will make him unavailable on opening night Wednesday at the Mavericks. Entering the season, Sohan will be listed as day-to-day. Talk about bad injury luck for Sohan. He had just returned from a calf injury. The Spurs' final preseason game goes down tomorrow at home, 7 o'clock in a rematch versus the Pacers. Well, the Dallas Cowboys receiving corps is on track to be fully operational on Sunday against the Commanders, as receiver CeeDee Lamb and Kevontae Turpin are expected to return to action. But even without both of the wideouts, the Cowboys' offense has been incredible, ranked first in total offense in the league. Here's Lamb on his recovery and how George Pickens stepped up big in his absence.
It's been tough mentally and physically, obviously with my ankle and rehab and everything, and then mentally, obviously, because of the player I am and how anxious I am to get out there. But trusting in my process and trusting in my team. I gave y'all a warning. I want to say I was at K1 softball little thing, right? And I was like, you got 2 ones. I don't think everybody really believed me until one of us went down, and then you saw. So it's kind of like a prove me right and prove everybody else wrong about who he is, his humility, and the presence he brings to this team.
Hopefully the Cowboys can tighten up the defense. After the break, Sark reveals a new role for former Alamo Heights star Michael Terry III.